Yes, sir. Yeah, until I got sick. Yep, that is correct. Um, no, I think it's really simple. You must draft two offensive players, must draft two defensive players. Like you said, it can be in any order. If you want to pick your two defensive players first, you can. If you want to pick them, just mix and match however you want to do. It's whatever fits your team.
Whatever best fits your team. For those of you just joining us, I actually had my mic muted in the beginning. Ice the Man on the Clock, second edition, EFL. The draft series. This is the MUT series. Last week we did the player series. This is where you pick actual MUT players, the cards that only you can use. We have a couple pre-picks that we're going to talk a little bit about as we get into it. But let's go a little bit of the pre-draft kind of path to the draft, talk about what different angles teams should take. Now, if you have two picks on offense, two picks on defense, picking a MUT player, only you can play that player. And these can be any number, like it could be a 99 or a 98, or it could be any number that you're picking, right?
Yeah. So basically, pretty much anything up to a 96 right now because they haven't gone any higher. But you have the option to power those cards up.
And you're allowed to use some power-ups, right? But you're not allowed to use some power-ups you can't. Is that how that works, or how's that work?
No, you can't use chems so you can't put all your players into like an Eagles chem or to give them those boosts. But we are allowing identifier and conductor.
Got you. So the identifier and conductor. And why are you allowing those two in order for your quarter or for your your system? I mean, why does those two the only ones that you're allowed to put?
An identifier is basically just a perk to be able to see where the users are on defense, which also helps us for the rules to make sure everybody's on one linebacker, one defensive back, and one defensive lineman. And then conductor is just to help the quarterbacks because if sometimes it takes like a long time to like make audibles and stuff
Uh-huh.
on this Madden's than previous Madden's. So we're just allowing conductors so quarterbacks can speed up their audibles and get multiple adjustments in as quick as possible, so we don't have as many delay games and stuff like that.
So talking to the path to the draft, the pre-draft, your different. What are your views on what should be of if you're a team? There should be some cards that you focus on drafting within the first 2 rounds. Let's say. What are some different positions before we get rolling here?
Um, I think you need offensively. I think you should target quarterbacks. I think quarterbacks are going to be super important because there's about three to four quarterbacks who are much more superior to others, and then I would probably say a big time receiver. You got Randy Moss, Tyreek Hill, um, Mari Cooper, Julio Jones. Those receivers are far more superior. And then on the defensive side, I think the best pass rusher is by far Lawrence Taylor. I think you can get him up to 90 plus speed. And then I think corners are super important. Deion Sanders, Patrick Peterson, New Champ Bailey, and things like that.
Now, before the Christmas takeoff, I should say, because it went crazy on Christmas, the top picks were Tyreek Hill. Like by far,
Yeah.
everybody was going. You got to go Tyreek Hill. Now it's Moss. I mean, Randy Moss seems like he kind of passed it by with the recent package they threw out. Now, after this point, after this draft, no new cards are allowed to be added into the system. Is that correct?
At 9 o'clock, as soon as this draft starts, any cards that comes out at 9:01 will not be able to be used.
Gotcha. Now, how can you tell the difference? I'm just going to use Randy Moss as an example. How can you tell the difference if I have a 98 Randy Moss or a 91 Randy Moss that I had before? And how would you know that what's the difference based on that?
The card overalls will pop up when the game starts.
Gotcha. So I would know, hey, that Randy Moss was an after release. Take a screenshot
Right.
or record the video and file a complaint. Um, and on those, I
Or
mean,
when we do the rule we added in where you must show your lineups before the game, you'll be pretty much able to tell what cards they have.
and that's both the offense and defense must show your lineups, or does that mean how do you, is that what you mean?
Right. I think when you hit merge lineup, it shows both teams' offenses and defenses.
Oh, gotcha. So in the pre-launch stage, do that.
Yep.
Okay, before you actually
Yep.
launch the game, you can do that. Okay, and you could show them and then take some sort of a video proof, timestamp showing that this is what I have. This is what we're going to play with moving in. That in case you're called into question, you can present that evidence.
Yes, sir.
Great. But let's jump right in. Talk a little bit about the draft itself. Again, there's 4 rounds this draft. You have 2 offense, 2 defense. The players you can select are either in any order, so you can select the defense, offense, or offense, defense, offense, however you want to select them. No other team can pick that player. So if you have a Deion Sanders at 98, or I'm sorry, at 95 or 94, nobody else can play a Deion Sanders, even if it's a lower grade. Those 4 cards are the only 4 cards you're allowed to have on your squad that are above a 90. Am I wrong on this?
I mean, if you want to, you could pick a gold card, but it's not. You shouldn't do it, but you can. You can pick any card.
But are those
It's
the
your
only 4
strategy.
cards that you're allowed to have on your squad that's a 90 plus? Right? You have, so let's say, for instance, just as an example, no one picked. Of course, this isn't going to happen, but let's say Tyreek Hill. Nobody picked it. So can everybody put Tyreek Hill on their squad?
Yes.
So I can then place my team with whatever other cards I want to put.
Okay. So we're allowing 5 90, not 95 cards that are an 84 or above,
Gotcha.
which everybody's going to use that on 90 pluses.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because there's no reason to have an
So
84 when
really,
you
you
can use it on
get
a 90.
four that you drafted, and then you get the 190 whatever somebody didn't draft. One, that's so
Correct.
you only get 5 total, and then everything else has to be an 85 and under.
And then you get 5 more that are 83 and 8, between 80 and 83.
Okay.
And then the rest of your team has to be 74 and under.
Does that include kickers?
No, we are allowing any kickers and punters that you have available.
Okay, so just kickers and punters get bypassed on it. And you are playing, that's where
Yep.
the head coach comes in. They're playing with the normal stuff. Okay, I think we got all the draft set up. Let's jump into the draft because it is almost time. We're not going to put the Saints on the clock because the Saints, from my understanding, picked earlier today. Is that correct?
They have picked today, and so did who was the second pick?
I think the Panthers
the
have already
Panthers.
picked. Yeah, as well.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to play the sound. Only because their pick is in. And we are going to then go to kind of look a little bit at their pick. Like I said, we're not going to put them on the clock, but what we're going to do is go right to the Muthead here and look at their pick. Forgive the Muthead, it kind of shrinks a bit, but the first pick of the draft was Michael Vick. Am I correct on that?
You are correct.
Gotcha. And it's Michael Vick, the new Ghost of Madden. This is the shakeup over the whole snow thing that just recently dropped with the promotion. I got him. I didn't jump him to a 96, of course. I've got him like at a 92 or 93. But now no other team can use a Michael Vick of any kind.
Correct.
Right. So with the first pick, the Saints select the Michael Vick, which I show here a 96 overall to kind of show the stats. His speed's a 92, which is huge. And he still has some pretty good throwing power. I mean, what do you think for the first pick? Is this the solid pick? Is this where you would go on your first pick with this card into play now?
Yeah, I would have to say I would go with Mike Vick. Just his speed alone at the quarterback position is a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, I have heard some of the other cards. I have not played with a 96, but I've heard that under pressure, Vic just loses his stuff. And I mean, it's hard to chase him down, but loses his stuff, doesn't make accurate throws. Is that the case on this 96 card, you think?
I also have him at a 96. I mean, I've never ran into that issue, really.
Gotcha. So he's throwing
with him
accurate
like
and
that.
everything, huh? One of the things that
Right.
irritated me with the Donovan McNabb card, which I thought would be in the top 3-4 picks easily, is that he can run back 20 yards or 15 yards, turn around and throw a dime, just a dot wherever he wanted to throw. And it was extremely frustrating as a defensive lineman, as I am, to try to chase that guy down because he was fast. He was, he maneuvered well. You try to collapse on him. He still made accurate throws under pressure. It was extremely frustrated to play at that level. It really took the defensive line out of the play. With this Michael Vick, I mean, you saying this is a solid pick for the first round.
Yeah,
First pick.
This is probably it's probably the pick anyone would probably make. Maybe not everyone. I could see who's arguable for the number one pick. I think there's 2 players arguable for it, but Vic is probably the safest person for most people.
Now we're going to jump right into, is there anything else you want to talk about the Saints' number 1 pick? Of course, they took Michael Vick. They're the only team to play with Michael Vick, the Saints, moving forward. So Michael Vick now dons the black and gold down in New Orleans to tear it up with the team down there. Who owns that team again? It is TK Gaming
Willie's
and
son.
Saboteur. So I'm Uncle Willie's
TK.
son.
Yep.
And Salvator. He's that looks like a pretty solid pick. I mean, anything else you want to talk about that pick?
No, I just think that was a good pick. Like I said, Vic at the quarterback position, his speed and arm strength alone are dangerous.
I would agree. Now, I don't know really say off the top of the pick, but I do believe the Panthers are on the clock. Actually, they've already picked us this morning, this afternoon as well. Am I correct on that?
They picked literally exactly after Michael Vick was selected.
Okay, so you got Behe and Goat Carnage with the Panthers. The Panthers were, I'm not even going to put them on the clock because I believe they were here, but I'm trying to pull up the card they select, so let me play the sound here. Because these picks are already in, we're going to go with a kind of a quick overview on these guys. But they selected, of course, for the second pick, first round. They also went offense. They went with Randy Moss.
Yes, they
I
did.
don't know which Randy Moss. I believe it's the 96 overall is where this Randy Moss is, or can he
Yep.
be upgraded? Uh,
For most of these picks, you'll just want to go with the highest card if you're
gotcha.
using Mudhead to display. Right.
So he's got a 95 speed, which is pretty scary. One thing I've noticed about Randy Moss, especially in this game, high bullets are deadly. You agree?
Yeah, high bullets are very deadly all over the field, but the best place, as you could probably say it is in real life, is in the red zone. Randy Moss as a red zone threat is by far going to be the biggest threat. So anytime that offense gets in the red zone, you're going to have to worry about Randy Moss.
Yeah, going first or first round, second pick. You think that's the right spot to grab this? Probably, arguably, the best wide receiver out there.
That's what I was going to say was my debate for the number one pick. I think you could have went Randy Moss just as much as you went Michael Vick because before Vick and Moss came out, we were just saying Tyreek Hill was the lock-it number one pick. Well, why
Absolutely.
would Randy Moss not be the lock-it number one pick if he's just as fast as Tyreek Hill and he's 6'4" compared to 5'9", 10?
And his jump is a 96. It's out of the building. I mean, he got 4 to jump there, and he's reaching through the sky to grab balls. That's going to be hard to stop. Now on the second round, do you see the Panthers trying to go for someone to throw to him, or do you see them actually focusing on defense to the second round for the Panthers?
Um, I think they're going to want to get a defensive back if available to try to take some of the speed off the field to keep up with him.
Yeah, I would agree as well. I think that they want to. They're going to have to fight against whoever picks offensive. I imagine Behe's sitting there going probably quarterbacks on the slot, but I would imagine he's waiting to see where the other picks fall to see what he's got to go against at this point. Um, as the rest of the teams going after him, especially the ones in the division, and who's in the division with them. They have the Eagles, the Giants, and the Saints. I could definitely see that being a going after a defensive back to try to stop Randy Moss now, which is going to be very difficult to do, or a free safety that can out jump him, which is going to be extremely hard. So the second pick that was done earlier today. We're down to the third pick, which is the Texans are on the clock. So the Texans pick on the clock. Where will you go here? Now you've got two big cards off the board. You've got the quarterback for the Saints, Michael Vick's off. You got Randy Moss as your second pick. Where do you see them going here? Where would they go on the third pick?
Um, I actually talked to Beastie earlier today. Um, I know he was leaning towards after knowing that Vic and Randy Moss were off the board. I know he was considering Steve Young or Tyreek Hill. Um, I think he was, and he was also considering Barry Sanders as well. I was in the
Definitely.
party with him and a few of his teammates,
Yeah.
and I think his team wanted him to select Tyreek Hill, but I think he was a little bit more on board with Barry Sanders and Steve Young. Any one of them, I think, are great picks. Me personally, I think Steve Young is the better pick because he's one of the only quarterbacks. I think he might be the only quarterback who meets all the 90 plus thresholds. So that means he's pretty much 99% of the time going to make a perfect pass as long as he's not under pressure.
And from my understanding, the pick is in.
Yep.
So
Um,
they selected with the third pick in the first round. They
yep.
selected Steve Young. Looks like Steve Young's
Steve
off the
Young.
board. So I wonder if that's the ghost of the Madden past, Steve Young there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That's a that looks pretty. I mean, that's a pretty good pick there. You got a 96 awareness. You mentioned Steve Young. His throwing accuracy is dirty. Throwing power is dirty, The only thing he kind of slow on 86, but 86 isn't slow. I mean, it's still decent to get up and get out of the pocket. I like that pick there. I'm a Steve Young fan. I think that's a pretty solid pick. Would you agree? I mean, there where you placed it, they were some of the things that you put on the where some of the guys you put up there. I mean, where Steve Young was one of them. You agree that's a solid pick there for their first round?
Oh yeah, 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 100%.
How many quarterbacks do you think are going to fly off the
Beastie.
board here? I mean, in the first round.
Um, we already have Vic and we already have
Young.
Steve Young.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say McNabb goes off the board, so that's 3. And then you might have someone who goes for I don't know, maybe I can't think of a name. Maybe the new Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, definitely. I could see Baker Mayfield going this draft. I see in the first round though, they're grabbing the quarterbacks that they like to use. I mean, beyond that, if someone isn't picked, you're more than welcome to use them still, right? I mean, as long as they didn't come out after
Yep.
9 p.m. tonight, which after are already launched here. So 6 minutes in, we've got the first pick was Mike Vick, second pick was Randy Moss, third pick is Steve Young. We actually have the Pats on the clock, ready to make their pick. Now here, being the Patriots, where do you see the Patriots going?
I think there's only one spot to go, and I think that's Tyreek Hill.
I mean,
He's
just like
still 95.
last week, he was talked about
Yep.
first overall, right? I mean, that argument was hands down first pick, next who should pick second, right?
Yep.
I mean, this draft would have done a week ago. I think Mike Vick, Randy Moss, maybe even Steve Young don't come off the board first.
No, not at all. I think we're just having owners draft around the Saints picking Tyreek Hill if we didn't wait a week.
Yeah, right. I mean, other than the new Barry Sanders, I think other than that, those other 3 cards are the new added. I think the Barry Sanders new added one, didn't they? Just add a Legends Barry Sanders or something that's top 90 or something.
Yes.
So other than those 3, I mean, you've got that's it. I mean, what else do you got?
Yeah. I mean, that's where you're at.
I think it's a no-brainer here. Okay, let's go into. I believe their pick is in. Let's go over to the live studio here and look what we have picked for the fourth round or fourth pick in the first round. They went with, we called it a Tyreek Hill. 93 overall Tyreek Hill. Is that about right? Is it the Blitz one?
Yeah, the Blitz Tyreek Hill.
I mean, the Tyreek Hill, even with the chemistry slot, everything, 93 overall. He's got 95 speed, which is absolutely retarded. 90 jump, though, so he doesn't have that high bullet as good as the Randy Moss pick. But still, hands down, the best receiver that's available if that's where you're going.
No, yeah, 100%. The speed threat alone, he could take the top off of any play, which is why he was considered the number 1 pick before these new cards came out.
Definitely, I would absolutely agree. I'm gonna do a little comparison here, just to compare and see where we, kind of see where we're at with that. So the only thing he has is elusive over the Randy Moss pick. Everywhere else, they're still the same, 95 speed. He's 3 points higher than him, but he's got him in the catching ability. Route running is 0 there, I imagine route, but the jumping 96, 6 spots over. I mean, he's overall a better player, but I mean, here, like you said, he blows out everybody else below that. I mean, nobody else with that kind of speed anyway. But I mean, Tim Brown's up there pretty good. If I was going for another wide receiver, that's probably who I would grab, either him or Jerry Rice, right?
Yeah, him or Jerry Rice.
Let's go. Now we have that is the Pats pick going to the Chargers. That is on the clock here. Start the clock for the Chargers here at this pick. Now it gets a little dicey. I mean, is it obvious where you go here, or is it kind of like, okay, stay with the offensive vein that everybody's heading for?
I think there's 2 players you could go my personal preference you should go to in this situation. Both are defensive players. One would be Deion Sanders. He has the 95 speed with 95 man and 95 zone to keep up with your Tyreek Hills and Randy Mosses. Or you can go with Lawrence Taylor, who I think is the best pass rusher in the game by a super wide margin. Like I said before, you can get him up to 90 speed, and a 90 speed pass rusher. I don't know how you really block that.
Now here, would you start going with, hey team, what do we have? Or screw it, let's pick the best player that's available. We'll figure out how to get him. I mean, what's the mentality there for a team?
Um, well, once again, this is why we gave all the owners
Week, yeah.
a week to kind of see what they got, what kind of coins they have available, what they can play with. For me personally, I would want my team to take the best player available, no matter what. Even if I can't afford him, if I got to take a lower version, we just want to. If I'm me, I would want to have the best player available, so no one else can have him.
Gotcha. So the pick is in. Um, Chargers are on the clock. The pick is actually in for the Chargers. We have for the first round, the 5th pick of the first round, they picked up Deion Sanders. So somebody to kind of go against him here, and back there to make sure that cornerback 3. Sanders 95 overall. That's the blitz card that was available. Ridiculous speed, 95 speed. He can keep up with those other fast guys. His catching there, his zone coverage, his man coverage, his agility, his acceleration. He's pretty damn scary there, Deion Sanders. I mean, you would say that was the best available cornerback, or are there other ones that can compete with him?
No, he's. There's others that I think are right there, tit for tat, but I think he's for sure solidified the number one corner.
So with that pick, it puts Titans on the clock. Also, fast as my brain would be all right here. So that puts the Titans on the clock. Let me restart. Here now, I mean, we've seen our first defensive player pick. So we got Mike Vick first round, Randy Moss second, Steve Young, Tyreek Hill, finally a defensive guy in Deion Sanders. Do we go back offense here? Do we go defense? I mean, there's still a couple solid quarterbacks out there. Running backs haven't seen off the board yet. Again, everybody's going with kind of wide receiver, quarterback, throw power type of mentality. Where do you see this pick going with old Rogue Apollo and Texas James Smith with the Titans?
This is James Smith. I've played against him quite a few times, and just meeting up, playing some MUT squads with some friends. Some friends on the Eagles, guys on the Eagles team. I think James Smith really likes to have his quarterback, and I think Rogue's going to go ahead and get him a quarterback. I'd probably say that's Donovan McNabb.
You think that's the best available quarterback out there? Him or Baker
Yeah,
Mayfield
sure.
are the best of quarterbacks out there. I would go defense here only because I see a lot of offense already off the board, so I would start taking the best available defenses. But that's just me personally. I'm a defensive-minded guy, but looks like the pick is in. Let me stop the timer here. Pull up their pick here. So with the pick, with their pick, first round pick, 6th pick, the Titans take a quarterback. And Donovan McNabb. Look at that. You called that right off the bat. Donovan McNabb. Is it the Gauntlet Donovan McNabb, I'm assuming, right?
Yep. Yep.
Gauntlet Donovan McNabb, 95 overall. Now, speed is a little slower. Again, 87. I'll tell you, I played against Donovan McNabb. And I played against the Vic, but of course, keep in mind the Vic just was released. The Randy Moss was just released, so I haven't had a whole lot of games against those guys. And I think even the Steve Young was recently released. I would have said, if you would have asked me last week who's the best quarterback on the board, I would have said Donovan McNabb. This guy was running back. I think it was Beastie I was playing against. And I would have sworn up and down it would have been his pick. He would have taken Donovan McNabb. Running back, 5, 10, 15 yards, turnaround throwing just absolute dots and dimes, keeping away and completely taking me, defensive lineman, out of the game. I mean, it's a button press, but I was getting right through and still was absolute worthless in the game. Just maybe 2 sacks, which is pretty low if you've played this year, Matt. But I mean, maybe 2 sacks because I've caught him off guard or a fake handoff and I didn't read it correctly or something. Within that thing, a play action that I read. Okay, still amazing pick here. I think this is, like you said, the best quarterback left. Where would you have you gone here in the sixth pick, round one?
Um, Probably McNabb for them. Yeah, that's what I thought. They would go quarterback. I kind of think that was. Oh well, I thought they would go a quarterback. For me, I'm still shocked Lawrence Taylor's still on the board.
Yeah, right. I'm with you on that. I would think Lawrence Taylor would have taken right here. I would have said Lawrence Taylor pick, but we do have Rogue Apollo, or I'm sorry, we still have the Eagles and the Giants in the first round to maybe pick those up. Which, speaking of which, Eagles is on the clock. Now, here, the best available player by far to me is the Lawrence Taylor. Where do you see Gay Billy and Mr. User pick going here with the Eagles?
Um, I think Lawrence Taylor for sure. Um, I don't. I think that they're smart enough to take Lawrence Taylor.
I would agree. I think Lawrence Taylor is the best available player. I think Lawrence Taylor can definitely cause these quarterbacks that you're having struggle getting to some definite scary backfield operations there. Make them throw on the run or throw under pressure, which could cause interceptions, make your defensive backs work less. I would go Lawrence Taylor as well. Being a D line, of course, I'm always rooting for the defensive line guys, but Lawrence Taylor's the closest I'm going to get in this draft, I believe, to a D line being picked up unless it's a late rounds. So it looks like their pick is in. Let's go looking here. Their pick is actually a running back. First running back to be taken off the board is Barry Sanders at 96.
So you're ready to advertise on Google. You've come to the right place.
Yeah, now that I come to think of it, I'm not that shocked. I think they have two good running backs with Mr. User pick and Hayden Land. I think he's playing running backs for their two lines. And I know Mr. User pick just from being in a party with him. That's one of my best friends on Xbox. He's really good at. He likes he's really competitive. Played a lot of one-on-ones at the beginning of the year, and he's one of the better persons I've ever seen at running the ball. And Barry Sanders, that kind of fits the way they probably want to play.
They're very elusive. Juke moving 96. Never known for trucking anybody, but speed 95. I mean, you get him some decent big men up front, he can be pretty damn scary. He can definitely, average 4 or 5 yards a carry and make this game really stretch out the long run, which with those 4-minute quarters, easy to do to run the ball, stretch it out. I believe you have a 75-25 rule, so at least 25% of the time, I imagine with the Eagles' first pick, they'll be running it a lot more than 25% of the time here with Barry Sanders. I think that's a solid pick. Now down to the Giants who are on the clock. Working off of 2 screens here, guys. Bear with me. They're on the clock, the New York Giants. Here, who's the best available that's left? You got Mike Vick, round 1, Randy Moss, Steve Young, Tyreek Hill, only defensive guy, Deion so far, Deion Sanders. Then you got back offense, McNabb, Barry Sanders. Who do you think the eighth pick is here? The first round 8th pick.
Still got to be Lawrence Taylor. I don't see how it's not.
Don't know how he's still on the board. Very surprising. Other than Lawrence Taylor, do you have a secondary person you're thinking that maybe they would go to, being IR Brady, Black Northside, and the Giants?
Maybe a quarterback.
I mean, they're coming off the board pretty quick. What's left is, I mean, out of the top quarterback, is there a huge difference between Baker Mayfield and McNabb or Young or Vick? I think there's such a gap there. I don't know if that's where the pick would go, right?
Yeah, probably not. That's why I could see them taking Baker Mayfield, or I don't know if you really take this guy. His stats are amazing. but he's very slow. Dan Marino's stats are out of this world, but like I said, he's just really slow, 60 speed. So I don't know if you can really take him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd leave him out there for anybody that wants to play with him to play with him. So that gives you the option, but I don't think it would be one of my top 4 picks. If I only have 4 guys to put on my team, I wouldn't pick that one. But I'm a huge Marino fan as well. I still wouldn't pick him. So the pick is in for the Giants. With the last pick in the first round, the Giants select Julio Jones.
Jet Jones.
Julio Jones at a 95 overall. Now, why do you see this pick here? I mean, other than the 92 speed, which I can see, that's a little bit of difference. I mean, 3 speed away there. Why would you pick Julio Jones here, do you feel? I mean, the new Ghost of Madden, that's a new card that's coming in. I believe the Ghost of the Maddens are the ones that just was released within the last week. But do you feel that 95 jump, I guess, that where do you see in the stats that would make you pick Julio Jones here? What were they thinking?
Um, I don't know. Maybe just by name, Julio Jones. By name, Julio Jones. I mean, he's the best receiver in the real NFL.
Oh, I mean, not of all time, right? I mean, he's the best receiver currently, maybe you can make an argument for, but I don't see. I don't know. I don't see where that pick is.
No,
But that
he's
is
not the best receiver ever, but he's the best receiver currently in the NFL.
Yeah. I'll let you argue that one, I guess. Like I said, of all time, I don't know if I could let you argue, but I'll definitely let you argue that currently. The Giants are back on the clock because this is a snake draft, so round 2 is starting. Here, I mean, like you said, Lawrence Taylor. They went offense. The only person to go defense in the first round is the Chargers, right? They're defensive-minded Chargers. So now going into the second round, first pick in the second round, you got to go what? You got to go defense, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. All right.
Got to do something.
Yeah, I don't know why they would go with that pick, but it does look like the pick is already in. So IR Brady on his shit here. Let's see what we got. So with the first pick in the second round, the Giants select Raekwon Smith.
Rookie linebacker out of Georgia.
Yeah, right? Like, think that's a good little pick grab there, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still shocked Lawrence Taylor's on the board. I will continue to say that. He should have been picked like 5 picks ago. But yeah, Roquan Smith's a good player. He's more of like a user. 90 speed, 6'1", 95 tackle, 94 hit power,
What do they got
92 acceleration,
right outside linebacker?
95 middle linebacker.
But I just thought I looked for him, and he wouldn't pop up there on my MUT here. Maybe I'm spelling it? I did. I spelled it wrong. So the rookie premier, you said it's the 95. Okay. But yeah, definitely. I mean, what is it? Pass rushing, it looks like here. Power, 94.
No, he's a coverage linebacker.
90 speed. Get shut down some of that over the middle, I guess, within there. Zone coverage, 88. Pursuit's 96. He chased somebody down with his big ass. So with the first pick, how do you feel about that? I mean, would you pick him over a Lawrence Taylor?
Not a chance.
Gotcha. You think it was a bad pick there?
Yeah.
Now the Eagles are on the clock. This now puts it as a second pick in the second round. I see a lot of these cards floating around, like the Ricky Williams, the guys that's been around for a while, that everybody has, that you've built up from day one. You didn't do a whole lot of MUT grinding. You've seen it. I mean, where do you think guys like that's going to fall to? I mean, do you see them following past the second, third round, like the Ricky Williams? There's a couple other cards I was trying. Mike Vick was one of them, but that was the old Mike Vick. The new one, of course, makes him first round material, probably first round anyway, but that would have easily made him there. I mean, do you see any of those cards falling deeper into the draft that's been around for a while?
Like the Shaziers, the Ricky
Yeah,
Williams. Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I'm sure they'll get picked. Specifically, Ricky Williams and Shazier. Um, they're too good, and Ricky Williams is one of those running backs that like you don't really have to spend money for. You just have to, have literally played the game since the day the games come out, and you'll probably have them maxed out.
The pick is in. So the second pick for the draft, I'm going to let you announce him. You know what he is in as well?
Lawrence Taylor, right?
Absolutely.
Eagles.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, definitely. I
Wait,
think
wait,
that's
wait. So the Eagles got Barry Sanders and Lawrence Taylor?
and Lawrence Taylor. I mean, how it's all
Yeah, God
popping out
bless
here.
you all.
Well, you think
God bless you
that's
all.
that's your favorite so far, huh?
Oh, yeah. God bless you all.
Probably got him. What is it? Outside linebacker, I would imagine. I see. I wish somebody could do this for me because then I wouldn't have to wait. So the Harvest, Lawrence Taylor, maybe 95 overall.
Yeah, the Harvest Lawrence Taylor.
Harvest
Yep,
Lawrence
the Harvest
Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor.
I've got him, but he's not a 95 overall on my screen. I imagine he's probably bumped up a bit here. But yeah, 94 power, 94 pursuit. Definitely going to hurt. 92 tackle, strength, acceleration still 89. Still pretty fast guy. I mean, as the second round pick so far, do you feel that's the steal of the draft? Still of the draft.
Yep, no question. No question.
Because you were calling him out in the first round. I mean, I think by pick fifth, sixth pick, you were yelling Lawrence Taylor's got to be the guy, and you dropped all the way down to the second pick in the second round.
Before the new cards come out, I would have picked Lawrence Taylor second or third in the draft.
Wow. So you had him drop. Well, like I said, the new cards, there was probably, 3-4 new cards that was really could even arguably bounce with him now. And then now with the where they're setting, he's dropped all the way down to the second pick in the second round. Do have the Titans on. I'm just trying to figure out how to pull up their clock. And the Titans are on the clock. So far you got the Eagles picking Barry Sanders and Lawrence Taylor, which is a killer ball threat on the ground. And then also you have Lawrence Taylor, which is arguably the best pass rusher in the game. Julio Jones and Raekwon. So, I mean, where do you see who's messing up so far in the second round thus far compared to where they've already picked? It's hard to kind of do. We're not really halfway through, but what you've seen, who do you feel is really not pulling their weight? Not doing their team justice, I should say.
Probably IR Brady.
Yeah, the Giants, I think, are somewhat struggling in the draft. Could be wrong here. IR Brady's going to let me know if I am here, but I agree. I mean, that's why I asked the questions. I think the Giants, for me, their two picks make me kind of wonder why. But we do have the pick in for the Titans. Pick is in.
So that would be Rogue, right?
Yep, Rogue's pick is in. Who do you have that they picked up?
Ricky Williams, player we just talked about.
Yeah, Ricky Williams, one of those, which I think they got two, if I'm correct, the guys that kind of stuck around. McNabb's been out for a little while. Ricky Williams is now one of the ones that you should have way up there. Of course, he's not a 70 now. He's probably a way higher than that. Probably all the way up in the 96 if you're at tier 57, right? I mean, that's probably where his stats are looking there. MUT Masters, Ricky Williams. I got all these MUT Master cards. I'm going to kind of tell you the story. And I couldn't figure out what the hell to use them for. And I hit up Mags because he plays all the time. And I'm like, dude, I've got all these fucking cards. Can't sell them. I can't trade them. What do I use these on? He goes, dude, you haven't been adding them to Ricky Williams? And I'm like, He said, don't you read those instruction cards? I'm like, nope. Remove them quickly. I don't even pay attention. Like, what other trophies do you have? So Ricky Williams, one of the first guys. Great running back, I think, in this game. McNabb, Ricky Williams, they're definitely focused on offense over there in Tennessee. Do you feel that's a good compliment going with McNabb, giving him you got the arm strength of McNabb, you got Ricky Williams coming out of the backfield. I'm not sure I would go 1-2 offense. I mean, how do you feel about that? Your two offensive guys out of the way right away.
Um, you must feel real confident in your offense. That's all I got to say.
Well, they say defense wins games, but offense has to put up the points. I'm a defensive guy, so to me that's arguably I probably would have went defense pick 1 and 2, but that's just me. I think that's if they can't score, they can't win. But also if you can't score, you can't win. But defense can put up points as well for you. So going with the fourth, I believe it's fourth pick in the second round. I'm right. I got to count basic math there. Where do you think the Chargers would be here? Now you have the Chargers with actually in most wanted. They picked Deion Sanders the first round. Do you see them going back to defense here?
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't. There's a couple good defensive players on the board still.
Yeah.
You got Champ Bailey.
Okay, Champ Bailey. Who else would you have here?
You got Champ Bailey. You got. Let me see what other corners are out there. You got Aeneas Williams. You got Xavier Rhodes, Patrick Peterson, Jair Alexander, new Rod Woodson, or you could go Jack Tatum, Ronnie Lott. Another player that's like super underrated that I don't know if anybody's drafted yet is Anthony Barr. He's probably got to be one of the best users in the game. You're talking about a 6'5" linebacker with 89 speed. And I think you could power him up and get him to 90 speed. So you're talking about a user player that's 6'5", with a big player model. That's one of the better players left still available.
Yeah, I mean you've got some pretty big guys out there. The pick is in, so I'm going to go ahead and announce the pick here. With the fourth pick in the second round, the Chargers have selected Earl Thomas. That's solid, right? I mean, that's a let's go big or go home type of. Now they're following some of your earlier draft things. I mean, how do you feel about that pick right there?
Well, you're gonna have Deion Sanders and Earl Thomas paired together. So, like you said, with your mentality, if you can't score, you can't win. So they're saying you're not gonna throw out our defensive backs.
Right, like they're definitely putting them out there. Now, do they have Earl as
a outtaker?
Okay. Do they have Earl Thomas in as a cornerback? I thought that's where he played. Is he safety?
Free safety.
He's a free safety here. Okay. Earl in 95. That's another Ghost of Madden card that they picked up here. So 95 overall, Earl Thomas. They are definitely going with the if you can't score, you can't win mentality. I think with all of these offensive guys picked, I do find it nice to see the Chargers going with 2. I heard a lot of people say before the week, of course, a lot of people tell me, oh, the first 2 picks in the draft's got to be defensive backs or got to be guys to stop the throw. Do you agree with that mentality, I guess? Is that how your draft pool would look when you're going forward?
Yeah, I think that's what where you're kind of at.
Definitely stop the pass. So the Chargers there, we have the Pats on the board. Or on the clock, I should say. Going through now, the Pats picked up in the first round Tyreek Hill. From here, where do you see them going? A lot of players left out there, of course.
I think when you pick Tyreek Hill, you kind of want to say we want him because of the speed advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you kind of want to take someone else having some speed in return on defense. So I think you possibly look at corner. Like I said, there's Patrick Peterson. Rod Woodson. There's Daryl Green. Uh, who else is out there? I think Aeneas Williams is still available.
Actually, the pick is in. So with the 5th pick in the 2nd round, the Patriots take Miss Williams. So he is right there. Let me pull up his card. He is right there. I believe he's free safety on this one too. Is that correct, or am I wrong on that one?
No, he's a corner. Ghost of Madden.
Oh, it's a Ghost of Madden, not the Legend one, huh? They do have him at free safety as well. Corner here. '96 Ghost of Madden. Okay, so that's probably the one they would go with there. 92 speed, so he is going to be a little slower than most of the guys picked up up front, but he does have good man coverage and zone coverage with a 94 and a 93. So I mean, you feel right there. That's the smart place to go when you're 2nd round. 1st round was a wide receiver. 2nd round was a defensive back. Put the Texans
I
on the
mean,
clock.
you take away a good corner.
Definitely taking out a corner out of the situation. Now you have a few defensive players coming off here in the end. You've got Raekwon Smith, Lawrence Taylor, Earl Thomas, Arenas Williams. You got some guys that are now going to the defensive side of the ball after kind of going majority offense the 1st round. And they're trying to strengthen their opposite side here. Do you feel a lot of these picks are based on what these players like, or do you just feel that's the best available players out there, or the cards I guess they have compared to the best available players?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few people I'm very confused on what they're doing.
Well, call them out. Who's the few
Very,
people
very
you're very
confused.
confused on what they're doing?
Very confused with Brady. We talked about that before.
Now, do you think his mentality is okay? What do both of my quarterbacks have, so we don't have to go out and blast more money or do anything there? I mean, what are their? You think
Well,
that
your
might be the
quarterback plays
mentality?
with it. Well, his superstar quarterback that he took with the #1 pick, blah blah. Everybody's boosting him up. Uh, they haven't taken a quarterback yet. So if you're going with a high overall quarterback, and I've seen people say that he can only play with a 99 overall team because he has a lot of coins. So the coins must not be an issue because he's able to get any player.
Hmm. He is referring to the #1 pick as shady on Xbox. So the Texans, they went right out and got a Steve Young for their 1st round quarterback. However, the Giants did not. They went with their who does my wide receiver like to play? Going up though, however, it is the pick for the Texans. Right, the Texans pick is in. With this 2nd round, 6th pick, have Champ Bailey is who they went with. So let's look at the Champ Bailey stats here a little bit. See where he falls. Of course,
You'll have to upgrade him like you did the Vic.
Yeah. Champ. Legends is what he is. Champ Bailey, 91 Legends.
No, Ghost of Madden will be his 80 card, and then you'll have to upgrade him like you did the Vic, like I showed you.
Got Ghost of Madden there. Okay, so 80. You upgrade him up to see where he falls at. We're the top, I guess, tier, even though you might not have the final tier. Oh, 93 speed.
Right.
94 acceleration, which is nice. So he's got a little bit of speed on him. Better man coverage than he is zone only by a bit, but his coverage is as high 90s, 96, 95. Looks like he's pretty solid as a guy to shut down some of these big receivers that they're picking. Do you think the 1-for-1 will fall into here? So it's like, oh, These guys are getting one good wide receiver. Bam, this guy's going to be on him and cover that one good wide receiver. I mean, do you think that's so? Or, I mean, you can always set, you don't have to have your one wide receiver in the first slot, right? I mean, you can move him to the third or fourth or second or third slot. I mean,
as the defensive coordinator, you have the option to match up your corners by overall, by speed, by height,
gotcha.
by like their route running, stuff like that.
So as a defensive coordinator, you could match up Champ Bailey with a Randy Moss or Champ Bailey with a Julio Jones. You can match those up based on when he come out in the lineup is what you're saying.
Right.
The Panthers are on the clock here. Panthers are on the clock with still in the second round here. From here on out, we're kind of got to go just on what they pick and then move from there instead of going over their stats and pulling up MUT here. But it's after we go into the third round, we'll kind of do that. Kind of hurry things along a bit because our picks are getting ridiculously out of hand. They are in for Panthers. Pick is in. These owners are not playing around tonight. They're ready to fly right through. They already kind of got an idea of who they want. I love this pick personally. I think that I'm a huge Vikings fan. So for me, this is absolute perfection. Not the best player, I agree, in Madden, but I absolutely love some Anthony Barr. So much.
Yeah, Anthony Barr, Panthers selected him.
Yep, Anthony Barr.
Yeah, Anthony Barr, I think is, like I said, one of the best user cards on the game. 6'5" with a big player model. And I think you can get him up to 90 speed if you power him up with the power up card.
Yeah, Team of the Week one's a 94. You think he went with a different other than the Team of the Week one?
No, I'm pretty sure that's who he's going to use. He has a lot of coins, so I'm pretty sure that's where he's at.
I like me some Anthony Barr. He's a beast. So 94 overall. You said you could probably get his speed up there, still help a cover. I've played a lot with Anthony Barr. He's one of my favorite cards that I have. He's not. I don't think I got him a 94. I think he got him as like a MUT Monsters or something. But he just plays like an absolute monster on the field. He pulls down passes across the middle like nothing. Every time I look up, there's an interception. You got Anthony Barr's hands on it. Love that pick there. I think that's a good second round pick. I mean, how do you feel going into that there? Do you feel like that's where they need to be, the Panthers?
Yeah, I think that's a really good pick. Now they have Randy Moss, one of the best receiver on the game, and Anthony Barr, the best user on the game at the linebacker spot. So I think that's good.
Now you would pick Anthony Barr over, let's say, Ray Lewis or.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other good linebackers that solid at the coverage side of things. You would definitely pick him over the other ones that are available.
Oh yeah, he's too big. Size and speed is what matters on Madden. It's always been that way.
Yep. Speed has always been dirty, although I think it's a little less this season. For me, anyway, personally, it seems like speed's still important, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a little less than what it's been in the past Maddens. You used to be able to, for instance, draft the Raiders, the teams, and still be able to compete because the Raiders drafted like they would draft in a Madden team. So.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a real thing there. The pick is in for the New Orleans Saints. This is the last pick of the second round. You're going to go with Clowney. So Clowney is that pick. Pull up his statistics real fast here. We'll go over them. Where they have him playing, I thought it would be, but it's still, what is it, right outside again? Yep,
Clowney, Jadeveon.
Yep, Jadeveon Clowney, 94 overall. I've got 86 speed, 91 tackle, 92 block. He looks more of a pass rusher. You agree?
Yes, Jadeveon Clowney is a pass rusher.
Gotcha. So he's a guy you're going to see probably at least 2 downs out of the 4 you go, or out of the 3 you go against him. He's going to be on the line, you feel. So that's almost like a defensive lineman pick for the situation, or the
Yep.
blitz. If you're blitzing from one side or the other, he's going to be the guy that's coming at you there, probably to counteract all the quarterbacks who have been taken thus far. I mean, the teams without a quarterback is the Panthers, and you also have the Patriots at this point. The Chargers, of course, have went defense, the Eagles, and the Giants. So those guys are the ones without a quarterback currently. So about half the squads have quarterbacks, half the squads don't. But Jadeveon Clowney is supposed to be the go all against those. Add it up. Pull him up here for the people that I actually wasn't paying attention and didn't switch my board. Pull him up here so you realize he is off the board. Now that is the end of the second round. How do you feel thus far, 2 rounds in? The only team that's taken up both their picks on both sides of the ball is, I'm sorry, the Texans picked up. No, Texans did not. Sorry, the only teams that did was the Titans picked up both offensive players, and then you have the Chargers picked up both defensive players. Everybody else went 1 offense, 1 defense. It looks like to this point. Is that a good strong strategy, Phil, or how would you go into the draft picking? What would your long-term goal be here?
Literally to get the best players available, whether it be in the first 2 rounds, whether it be the first two offense, first 2 defense, or 1 offense, 1 defense. I just want the best players available. That would be my strategy. And with that strategy so far, I think the best 2 people that have done that are the Eagles, for sure, with Lawrence Taylor and Barry Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I'd probably have to go at a tie with Beastie and Behe getting Anthony Barr and Randy Moss, and then Beastie getting Steve Young and Champ Bailey.
Absolutely. I think they're both solid picks there. I like the 1-in-1 offense-defense combo there. Kind of get the best one available for the defense and turn around and get the best one available for the offense. Out of these 2 rounds, you have 16 players pick. Do you feel these are the 16 best players on the board? If you were creating your board, like you said, the best of the best, who are they missing in here?
I would probably take out Aeneas Williams. He probably wouldn't be in there for me. I probably would have took Patrick Peterson. I don't know if I would have reached on Ricky Williams that early. I might have went Eddie George over him.
I like the Eddie George card. That's a card I have and I love.
Who's also still available. I probably would have went Christian McCaffrey over him too, as well as I'm looking at it. Maybe I would have to look into it a little deeper, but I would consider him. Another person that still hasn't been taken is Amari Cooper. His new card is ridiculous. That's about it for me, to be honest.
Gotcha. So you would definitely include those guys that you mentioned in the first 2 rounds. You would expect to see those guys off the board.
Yeah, Amari Cooper, Patrick Peterson,
Eddie George, those guys. Okay. Well, we're going to go into the round 3, and of course it goes backwards now. It is the Saints on the clock. However, the teams are picking rather fast here, and they're way in front of us, so we're going to speed up just a bit, but we're not going to blast through these. We do want to stop and talk about them as we go, so I am going to continue entering them into MUThead, and thank you for MUThead for creating this beautiful site that you're able to go through and play. I know everybody tells me, oh, you want to see what you can do on that card, go to MUThead. It'll tell you how to upgrade them, where to upgrade them, all that wonderful stuff. So if you guys are wondering where this is showing at, this is MUThead.com. Please feel free to go there, click, check it out. It's actually a pretty badass site. I am in the Create Your Own team as well, just to kind of give a shout out to them for a minute for allowing me to utilize their information here. So the actual first pick in round 3, the Saints, after picking up Michael Vick, Clowney, they then add to their team with the running back Eddie George. Looking at this, 91 speed, you of course included him in the top 16 players. You feel this was probably the second best running back taken, or it should be the would you would have taken him over Sanders or no?
No, I would take Barry Sanders first. Eddie George is got to be up there. Um, I think I might be overlooking Walter Payton as well too. Walter
Yeah,
Payton is
he's
really
solid.
good. I'm shocked nobody took him.
Yeah, definitely
92
solid.
speed on Walter Payton. So I think Walter Payton could have been in consideration. Um, but yeah, I mean Eddie George is huge, no homo. Uh, and he has 91 speed, so that's a big plus.
Yeah, right. That is amazing. Here I'm trying to compare the two. Go with Peyton. Walter Payton with a 95 harvest card. His speed's a little faster by 192 and 93 agility, but he does beat him in acceleration. Um, Carrying, he beats him in carrying pretty good, pretty convincingly. Trucking, I mean, I'm an Eddie. I like the thumbstick forward. That's my kind of running game. If I get 3.5 yards of carry, I'm ecstatic. So 96 overall trucking is my kind of guy over the 88 Walter Payton. But it's just different play style, so depending on what you like to go with. But I think Saints here are off to a great start with Michael Vick, Eddie George, and Clowney. The only thing they're going to miss here, I think, is a top wide receiver, but they feel with what's left on the board after everybody picks, they probably could still have a powerful wide receiver without having to go with complete garbage, right? I mean, but their two offensive picks are off the board. The second pick here
Yeah, 100%.
in the round 3, the second pick, the Panthers. The Panthers have selected Patrick Peterson.
Pete.
Pete, yeah, he's cornerback, correct? Peterson.
Patrick Peterson, yep, he's a corner.
They've got him his Ghost of Madden card as a 95 overall, which is pretty solid. 93 speed. Got some zone coverage and man coverage. I mean, anything that's 95 should have solid stats all the way down, which he does. Here, they've gone Anthony Barr and Patrick Peterson as their two defensive players with the Panthers. Randy Moss is the only offensive player, so of course in the round 4 they will pick their offensive side and finish out. But here, Patrick Peterson, would you include him? You said I think he was part of your first 16, right? I mean, you would probably include him.
Oh yeah,
probably some of the best 16 cards available, right?
yeah, for sure.
Definitely dirty. I think that's a great pick here at the second pick in the third round. The third pick, the Texans, I've already selected as well. Like I said, we're going to kind of fly through a little bit, but I want to go. Okay. Marcus Ware. Okay. That's a little surprising, right? I mean, to me, it's surprising. Is that surprising to you?
No. DeMarcus Ware, an elite pass rusher. I think he's, I don't think he's Lawrence Taylor, but I think, I don't know if he's Clowney either, but I think he's got to be, in consideration to be right there with those guys.
Yeah, I mean, 96 overall, left outside linebacker is what I've got him here. Sounds about right. Still a 95
Yep.
plus, so solid player even in the third round. There's not many 95 plus cards, I think, out. So this is definitely one of the top guys. He's still power is 88 a little bit. His acceleration, his strength or speed's 86, strength's a 92. His tackle's a 90. So if he does get through that line, one of the questions I've had as a defensive inside or defensive tackle guy, you said so I can't put any 90s on my offensive line unless I choose them in this draft, right?
No, you can, as long as he's that one extra guy.
Oh, as long as he's that fifth guy.
You get one extra.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But there won't be a fifth. So what if all my offensive lineman has to be? He can be any of the 5 of the 80 to 83?
Yep.
And that's on both sides of the ball or just on one side of the ball there?
Both sides.
Okay. So I can have 7 players, if I'm correct. 7 players, 5 of which are between an 80 and an 83. 2 will be a 90, or 2 or 3. So I can have 7 to 8 players on the defense, or 7 to 8 players on the offense, all above an 80. So there's going to be 3 players. There's going to be 3 weak
10
positions.
players.
Okay, do my math better then. How do you figure? You got
Okay.
2 offense, right? Or 3, depending on the situation. Right? Above
Okay,
90s.
so you get 5 players pretty much 90 and above. I mean, it's 84 and above, but it's going to be 90 and above.
Yeah, but I mean on one side of the ball. So on offense, you can
Yeah,
only
on
have
one side of the
3
ball.
or 2, depending on the build, right?
Yeah, I'm getting confused a little
So
bit.
on the
So you can have
offensive side of the
5
ball,
players.
you've got
Yeah,
you
5
got
players.
3 players. It can only be
Well,
above 90.
three after the draft. 3 after
Yes,
the draft.
gotcha.
Yeah, 3.
So you would have 3, and then everybody, or there's another 5 players on the team has to be between an 80 and 83. Is that 5 overall or 5 on each side of the ball? So I get 5 offensive, 5 defensive.
5 offense and 5 defense.
Gotcha. So it can be between an 80 and 83, right?
Yep.
Okay. So on the offensive side of the ball, I can have anywhere from 5 between 80 and 83, 3 up to 3. I can have 2 or 3, right? Because depending on where I use that last special card at. 2 I drafted and 1 that's there. So I got 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. I had to count on my hands. Yes, boys. Count on my hands. 8 guys on the offensive line that is 80 or above. Or 8 guys that are there on the offense 80 or above. Everybody else has to be 74 or below.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So there'd be 3 guys there that will be my weak spots. Everybody make it your tackles. Okay, moving on. The Patriots with the 4th pick in round 3. They pick Ray Lewis. We're seeing some more defense popping here. I think. Do you feel it's because they're getting low on them, or?
No, I just kind of think they're with your mentality. They think defense is gonna win it for them.
Now, can you have a 99 overall Ray Lewis? It shows here his final tier is a 99 overall.
Yeah, you can. I think you can. I'm not sure if you can get to a 99 yet. I'm not sure if you can get to a 99 yet.
They're saying the final tier is a 99 overall. Tier 24, which I guess you can get him that high. He will be a 99 tackle, 90 speed, 99 awareness. This is first round pick material here. If you can get him that high, of course, some grinding, I would imagine, if you made him your team captain and went off that. He's your team captain, and you can build him that high quickly. I don't know what level you have to be or how much time you have to put into the game, but a 99 overall is damn scary. Ray Lewis. So that is the pick from the Patriots. So they have Tyreek Hill, Arenas Williams, and Ray Lewis. How do you feel about that pick right there? Round 3, 4th overall.
I think that's a good pick. Ray Lewis is one of the better cards. He's just one of the better Madden players, always has been. It's Ray Lewis, and not much more to say about it.
Yeah, right. Moving on to the pick here with the Chargers. They have Deion Sanders, Earl Thomas, so they can pick. They have to go offense here. Looking at where they are going with their pick. Don't know who I'm trying to spell. They went Chad Johnson with probably the 0 chill Chad Johnson, which is a 95 overall.
Yeah, we gotta call him Ocho Sec. We gotta call him Ocho Cinco.
Ocho Cinco. Gotcha. I can't call him Chad Johnson. It says Chad Johnson on the card.
No, it's gotta be Ocho Cinco. They gotta fix it. Madden's not doing it right.
Madden's dropping the ball. Chad Johnson, 95 overall. That's 93 speed, so they go with a heavy-duty wide receiver. So they have 2. I'm sorry, they don't. They have 1. 1 great wide receiver, Chad Johnson. I'm looking at the wrong line here. Chargers, Deion Sanders, Earl Thomas, and Chad Johnson. There with what they pick, I don't know, he's the best wide receiver left, you feel? I mean, is that why they figured, we're going to go wide receiver here and we got to pick the best ones available?
No, I think they blew that. They should have took Amari Cooper.
You would have taken Amari Cooper over Chad Johnson.
Yeah, if you gotta. I don't think a lot of people have took the time to deeply look at how good that Amari Cooper is. I actually underlooked him today when I was talking with a few people. That Amari Cooper is really good.
Okay. It shows as a 95 Amari Cooper, and I'm assuming it's the team of the week Amari Cooper.
Yes.
You've got the only thing he really beats Chad Johnson in. He doesn't beat him in the jump, which a high bullet's 95. He actually has a 90 overall. He beats him with the elusiveness and RLS, which RLS is what? What is RLS? Running. I
That
thought
might
it was
be
route,
release.
but that's not. Maybe the release. Okay, release. I can see that. So the release off the line, I would imagine, if they try to slam him at the line, he has a 94. He can break off. Elusiveness is a 90. Other than that, Chad Johnson beats him, ties him in speed, ties him in catch. Like I said, he's a little more elusive. The spec is ties there. Release, he beats him. I can only see the reason going with a Chad Johnson over Amari Cooper if you're planning on throwing that high bullet. Right? I mean, his jump is a 95. He's going to leap over people to get that ball. I mean, Amari Cooper's a 90, so like I said, the speed's the same. I don't know. They're pretty comparable. I don't know if that was a stretch there or not, but for you feel Amari Cooper is a better set. The Titans, of course, have the next pick.
Me so.
And that pick is already in. It's the 6th pick of the 3rd round. They chose Darrell Green. How do you feel
Darrell
about
Green.
that pick?
A weird card. I mean, a good card. Don't get me wrong. Good card. Just really weird. Really weird pick. I mean, it's smart because he's 95 speed, and so he's going to be able to keep up with the faster receivers, and he has 91 zone and 94 man, so he has those thresholds, 93 agility. My issue with him is that he is 5'8" and has 86 jumping, so he could get teabagged.
those Chad Johnsons, Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill, Randy Moss are going to jump over him and nuts on forehead. Got you. As they're pulling down the shot. Well, that high bullet you don't think he can compete with is what you feel out there with Darrell Green?
If I seen him one-on-one with Randy Moss, I'm probably just going to click the button.
No. Toss it high? Toss it high.
I'm going to throw it up.
Titans, McNabb, Ricky Williams, and now Darrell Green. The Eagles with the 7th pick in the 3rd round picked Amari Cooper. We were just discussing him. Look at that. Somebody's listening. Amari Cooper, 95 overall. We just kind of went over a little bit about him, but I mean, he is comparable to the Chad Johnson. He's a little less of a jump. Would you put Darrell Green on him? Would you toss it if you see him on Darrell Green?
I'll throw it up.
You would not throw it up?
I will.
You will? Throw it up. No matter who Darrell Green's on, you're throwing it up.
We're at the point where if you're drafting receivers right, unless you're Tyreek Hill, you're probably going to have at least a 5-inch advantage on this guy, at least 3 to 5 inches on this guy. And with all the animations and crazy one-hand catches you can get, I'll throw it at him. I'll throw it right up at him.
Special catch is high. With a 94 overall. The Eagles, of course, Barry Sanders, Lawrence Taylor, now Amari Cooper. You loved him so far, Barry Sanders, Lawrence Taylor. You're talking Lawrence Taylor in the 1st round should have went. Now Lawrence Taylor fell to them in the 2nd round. Now Amari Cooper goes to them in the 3rd round. Do you still feel like they're on track to win the best drafting of this MUT, the first ever MUT at EFL?
Yeah, I mean they have 3 guys who I think could have went in the first 2 rounds, and they have 2 guys who I think could have went in the 1st round.
So they're still ahead. So if they picked Amari Cooper 2nd, picked a double in the front, they're still up on the thing. The Giants with the last pick, which you've been kind of critical on with Julio Jones, Roquan Smith, like I can say, went with their pick Darius Slay in the 3rd round, final pick of that 3rd round. How do you feel about that?
That's a good pick. I'll be critical once again. You could have went Xavier Rhodes.
I like Rhodes, but that's only me. But you still think a cornerback here is the way to go?
Yeah.
You
could have went Rod Woodson. Could have went Jair Alexander.
Smith. Probably the harvest card here, 93 overall. Speed's a 92, so he is a little fast, but I don't know if I would have went. Don't know about that there, me personally. But Darius Smith, 3rd round, final of the 3rd round. Now they do get a snake draft and go back and get to be able to pick 4th. Here they have to go offense. I mean, like you said, they picked up. They were the first pick in the draft. Where do you think they're going to go here now with the MUT draft as the first pick of the last round 4?
I mean, it makes sense to get your number one pick, a quarterback, right?
That's kind of what I've been going with. And I'm looking. I don't know if you're seeing at the same thing I'm looking at, the page that kind of has the pick laid out there, but they did actually. They went that as going down as the first pick of the last round. They actually went with a quarterback here. I'm going to take Steve Young off of here to put in Aaron Rodgers. I don't like to pick because I hate Aaron Rodgers. Again, I am a Vikings fan, so that's what I get. But
You
Aaron
watch Stephen
Rodgers,
A. Smith
yeah, I hate Stephen A.
as
Smith.
as
I
a
listen to
bad
him.
as a bad man.
Yeah, I'm not a big Stephen A. Smith fan. I think he overblows and just yells for no reason at the mic, but that's me personally. Aaron Rodgers, I think he's dropping the ball this year, but he is a 95 overall here, so he's gonna have the arm strength, throw power. Um, this year he's playing like a 70, but we'll give him a 95 because it's Madden, and he was good at one time for a year, I think. But 91, or 95 overall. He looks like he is. Speed's a 79, which is still not too bad. Although as a defensive lineman, I think I could track him down. Um, I want nothing more than to play the Giants, so I can slaughter Aaron Rodgers. That's my dream. Black Northside's the Giants. Their picks are all in. First round they picked Julio Jones. Second round Roquan Smith. Third round Darius Slay. Fourth round Aaron Rodgers. How do you feel their draft went?
Um, were they picking the second round again?
Their second round was what do you want me to say the name again? The Roquan Smith or
Yeah.
yeah, that's where they went.
So
Am
Julio,
I
Roquan
messing it up?
Smith.
Roquan. Okay, good.
No, you
I
got it
didn't know if
right.
I was messing
Julio,
Roquan.
Smith.
It's I was messing it up. But yeah, Roquan Smith was there. So they
Julio.
went. Yep. Julio, Roquan Smith, Darius Slay, and Aaron Rodgers. How their draft went. That's kind of what. If you had to give them a grade right now compared to everybody that was available. Now keep in mind they did have the last pick, but they were snaking. So I mean, they in the second and fourth round you're going to get the best available after the ones that were picked, of course. If anybody left anything out there to grab, how do you feel? Um, you would kind of give them a grade. What would you call it?
I gotta give them like a D, man. I'll be honest with you, because I think they could at three of their four picks. I think they could have picked somebody better and somebody better at the position they picked.
I think going into the second round there, they had a chance to. I understand going after Julio Jones. I kind of understand that. But arguably, who I like better as a wide receiver. Maybe their wide receiver told him, "Hey, I want Julio no matter what." But going into the second, I probably would have took Taylor over Roquan Smith. I probably would have taken Anthony Barr. I probably would have taken maybe even a running back if I'm a running back, so my mentality's there. I probably would have took the last quarterback left that was worth anything, but they did wait all the way to the fourth round to pick another quarterback after all the quarterbacks were gone. So realistically, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I would give him as bad of a grade, but I also won't light them up like you just. Now I'm having a
I
problem
mean,
finding Vander. I thought he was a middle linebacker, but he's not, is he?
he's a left outside linebacker.
Thought they had him as left outside linebacker. That is the next pick in the draft here. Ish. German. Has to be German. A 90 overall. Here in the fourth round to be able to pick a 90 overall, do you feel that was the best card left from what you had to go defense, of course? They went offense, defense, offense, defense. How their draft looking out with the Eagles, that's Gabe Illy and Mr. User Pick. Now, keep in mind, Gabe Illy has some good history on Madden, so he kind of probably knows what cards feel broke and what cards don't. Got Barry Sanders, Lawrence Taylor, Amari Cooper, and now Leighton Vander.
That fits their team. Once again, a bigger model linebacker. I'm guessing they see him as the step down from Anthony Barr as a user. I thought they might consider going Ryan Shazier, but they went Van Der Esch. 6'4", 88 speed.
Yeah, 88 speed. He looks like he's got some decent stats, power, some tackling, acceleration, some strength there. I mean, he looks good, of course, a 90 overall. They had to be better cards out there, though. And I mean, like you said, Shazier, I think, rank up a little better. Can't really go offense, so you have to go defense here. Just trying to think. I like Tim Brown. I like a few other ones out there that are still left. Of course, so far no one's picked a defensive lineman, so I'm gonna go defensive lineman here. But that's looking at their team. Now, what would you give them as a grade? You have Barry Sanders, Lawrence Taylor, Amari Cooper, and Leighton Vander.
I think they're probably in the A range. I don't know how much better you can get. You get two players that are first round picks, and they got one in the second round, and you got Amari Cooper, who I think is one of the better receivers, probably a top 3-4 receiver, and they got him in the third round, and then come back in the fourth round and get a 90 overall user, 6'4", 88 speed.
Yeah, they actually have up here Chuck Bednark, I guess an old dude. He looks pretty solid if you're looking at stats comparing. He beats him in everything but acceleration and speed, so he's a little slow. And of course, in this game, you want to go slow. So now going to the fourth round final pick for the Titans. It's Rogopalo, Texas, James Smith. So the par they picked up McNabb, Ricky Williams, Darrell Green, and this pick here, which is Ryan Shazier. Looking at Ryan Shazier here, I imagine not a 7. You probably upgrade him all the way up to probably a 95 if you can get him there. 92 easy. I'm gonna go with the top
Yep,
card.
that's the MUT Master Ryan Shazier.
Master, yeah, MUT Master Ryan Shazier. Again, I had no clue what those fucking MUT Master stuff was for. Here you've got MUT Master Ryan Shazier, 94 power, 93. He's got 90 speed, so he's quick. Everybody probably has this card in some form or fashion. Probably not upgraded all the way unless you've grinded him out. But taking Ryan Shazier off the block, I think, in the fourth round so nobody else can use them is probably still a pretty solid pick there. How do you feel about that pick or the team as it's laying out here? The four picks that they've got was McNabb, Ricky Williams, Darrell Green, and now Shazier. The Titans with Texas, James Smith, and Rogopalo.
I mean, I like their team, except for the fact that they might get teabagged.
Darrell Green's going to get teabagged. You heard it here. Teabag City. Darrell Green. Sorry. the actual fourth pick in the fourth round. We have on the board the Chargers, actually most wanted. They picked up a wide receiver. I mean, they went Deion Sanders, Earl Thomas, 2 defensive backs, or right up in that area. And then they turned around and grabbed 2 wide receivers back to back, Chad Johnson and now Chad Johnson
Jerry
and
Rice.
now Jerry Rice. Yeah, Jerry Rice here. I'm trying to find him over here. I'm trying to pull up a card. I'm trying to figure out which card I want to remove. So, thing here. 95 overall Jerry Rice.
There's that one, and then there's the one that you can build up over time. That might be the one they're using, but it might be the regular legendary Rice.
Legends Jerry Rice, or you got the 7 Legends Jerry Rice, right? Builds up, only be an 87. I imagine they're probably going with a higher Jerry Rice, what they're thinking on their team, which is still going to be damn scary. I mean, you got to go head to head with both Jerry Rice and Chad Johnson. Most people have only picked one defensive back to cover that. So you're going to have on each side of the ball, you're going to have to use one of them, I'm sure, to slow that guy down. So you've got a 95 overall, roughly 92 speed, which is still pretty fast. Jerry Rice can, of course, jump and catch the ball. To me, he's the greatest receiver that ever lived, but that's just me personally. How do you like that team ironing out there? They went with 2 defensive backs, 2 wide receivers. I mean, they went in the Chargers with the plan. Looks like their plan paid off. Those were one of the guys that I heard that were going to go 2 and 2, and they were going to take the best 2 available and the best 2 available. Do you feel they accomplished that tonight?
Deion Sanders, yes, best corner. Earl Thomas, probably the best safety, I would say. Debatable, but I would probably say the best. Like I said, I personally would have took Amari Cooper over Chad Johnson, but you can't be wrong with it. And then Jerry Rice is Jerry Rice.
So their grade score, if you were handing out grade scores, how do you feel they scored so far for the draft with only 4 picks left?
Um, Dion, you got yeah. I would say B plus, B plus A minus in that range.
Now the final pick for the next team that's on the Patriots, user be flawless, and Hog Crazy, taking Tyreek Hill, Arena Williams, Lewis, and their last and final pick is Calvin Johnson. And it grabbed a wide receiver here, a great wide receiver that ended his career way too soon. Calvin Johnson, I got him as a MUT Masters, falls into great ability, but is there a higher one than 94? You think?
No, that's it. Monsters.
You got
Calvin
him.
Johnson.
I think that's the highest one. So MUT Monsters, Calvin Johnson, 94. He's pretty quick. Of course, he can jump out of the building, 95 jump, uh, 91 overall speed. So he's still a good, solid receiver, especially since they went 2 wide receivers again, Tyreek Hill and Calvin Johnson. I mean, does user be flawless or the quarterback on the other line have any excuse to not go head to head with these guys? I mean, most of these guys still have a 5th spot, right? So they can go depending on the line, right? You don't have to say this is who I'm using and this is it. Depending on the line that you're playing, you could say, okay, I know this team has 2 wide receivers. I can use my 5th freebie one on another defensive back that's a high-rated defensive back to help stop this dual wide receiver threat. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you can select based on the game you're playing. You don't have to change. You don't have to commit to that 5th player. You can base it on who you're matching up against or the team you're matching up.
Right.
So how would you score the Patriots? Tyreek Hill, Arenas Williams, Ray Lewis, and Calvin Johnson.
Um, I think that's pretty good. I would probably give that about a B plus.
E plus. Nice to my quarterback. That's my quarterback. Going with the next pick in the draft here. Trying to do multiple things. Looking around. It is the Texans with Defeat You and I Am Beastie. So far, the Texans have picked Steve Young, Champ Bailey, Marcus Ware, which I love the DeMarcus Ware pick. And I like him better on end, but I still am a big fan. They're going with Tim Brown. Feel about that pick as the wide receiver Tim Brown. There's a lot of wide receivers being picked up out here.
Yeah, for sure. Wide receiver is going to be popular. Going to want to have your playmakers you could throw the ball to. But yeah, Tim Brown, good card, 6 feet, 92 speed, 88 jump, which you kind of like to be a little bit higher, but not too bad. 95 catch, so it's going to have a good catch rating. 93 catch in traffic, 91 spec catch, and got some good short and medium route running. So I think he's going to be more of your possession wide receiver.
Probably a guy, I mean, with that lineup, you probably throwing in the slot or as a. Oh, actually, that's the only wide receiver they have. So it would be Steve Young throwing to Tim Brown. So they the heavy wide receiver, heavy quarterback.
Right.
With that team giving the defeat and the Beastie Texans, Steve Young, Champ Bailey, Marcus Ware, and Tim Brown. How would you say they came out of that as a score? Give them a.
I would say it's a B plus, A minus.
You got them up there. Now the second pick, next to last pick of the draft, 4th round. It is the second to last pick, almost last pick. The Panthers, which is Behe and Goat Carnage, Randy Moss, Anthony Barr, Patrick Peterson, and their last pick is George Kittle.
Tight end. There we go. That's something new.
That is new. I'm kind of at a lost for what the hell. I'm so lost I can't even pick where my tight ends are supposed to be up here. That's one of the things that I was a little blown away with. So they went with George Kittle, the tight end. I like to throw to my tight end, but that when I play a user, they seem to always pick me off. So because they're always covering that middle, and I get raped when I throw over the middle. So I try to keep off the middles, stay the sidelines. But George Kittle, tight end, That's something different. Definitely a different thought process for Behe and the boys. Randy Moss, Anthony Barr, Patrick Peterson, and George Kittle. It took me a minute to even go, wait, George Kittle, he's right in. How do you think they ended up? I think that's a stretch for them there, or do you think that's at this point anything over